Hello and welcome to this week's BizSmart Lunch and Learn webinar. Our weekly webinars are aimed to provide advice and share knowledge amongst business owners. If you would like to keep up to date on our latest webinars, please make sure you follow us on SlideShare or subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also access all of our resources for business owners by downloading the BizSmart app. Our host joining me today is BizSmart Select member Mike Gardner. Thanks, Mike. Over to you.
Right, good afternoon everybody. So I thought in this webinar what we'd do, given the time of year now we're into February, everybody's forgotten about their New Year's resolutions where they made a resolution to be more productive and to finish leave the office on time and things like that. So I thought what I would do is just talk through some of the top 10 tips or the top 10 ways you can be more productive. And they're easy ways really. Some of them you'd have come across in the past and others you've will take a bit of thought, I suppose, is the best way of doing it. So let's get started. So the first one, the number one top tip is, I always say to people, I always say to my clients, when do you actually plan your day? Because a lot of people, they get into work first thing in the morning and they waste the first 30 or 40 minutes just planning what they're going to do. Or even worse than that, they get dragged into the emails and the day plans them rather than them planning the day. So what I always say to people is one of the last things that you need to do the day at the end of your working day is get ready for tomorrow by actually planning what we're going to do. So identify what are those 3 key tasks you're going to do tomorrow and use that as your action today list. And with those 3 key tasks, they are the things that, come what may, you either have to complete or at a very minimum at least make a start on. And if they're your key tasks for the day, then you can build everything else around it and you've always got to focus. So that's the first one. So number 2 is, as you can see there, find a system that actually works for you. A planning system that helps your productivity. So it doesn't matter whether you use a notebook, an app on your phone, whether you use things like Trello and online project management tools. It doesn't matter what you use as long as you use it consistently. So you've got to have consistency of use and you've got to use it on a what I call a continuity basis. So don't jump from one thing to another. And if you do decide to change your planning system, then make sure you're changing it for a reason. So don't jump from one thing to another. Don't be weighed by what other people are using, just literally what works for you, because everyone is different. So leverage that planning system. So the third one is starting to look a little bit now in terms of what some of you might think about as being a little bit pink and fluffy, but know your productivity personality. So when's your best times of the day? What are your energy cycles like? So for example, you get owls, you get larks, and you get hummingbirds. So our larks are our very early morning people. I'm a lark myself. And for larks like me, you're usually up at about 4:30 in the morning, ready to start work straight away. Breakfast is more or less a midday meal. You have my wife, on the other hand, who is definitely not a lark. She's an owl. She's a late night person, and so she gets some of the best work done in the quieter hours of the evening. But in truth, only a small percentage of the population are either dedicated owls or dedicated larks. Most people are what I term hummingbirds. And what hummingbirds are, they are a combination of the two. So for example, a larkish hummingbird will be the type of person who gets their big energy boost and they feel most energized at about 10 o'clock, 10:30 in the morning. But when they can get a couple of tasks done and they can concentrate on the things that really need that proper thinking time. So know your productivity personality, be very aware of your energy cycles, and we will touch on energy cycles again later on, but you will get your most productive work done when you're at your most energetic. So that's number 3. So moving on to number 4, very easy title there, prioritise. Prioritise your tasks for the day and focus on those tasks that will have the biggest impact on your success. Don't get waylaid into some of the smaller things. Now, when people talk about prioritisation, they automatically start thinking about the urgency and the importance of a task. What a lot of people know is the Stephen Covey matrix, but actually he nicked it from Eisenhower, because during the Second World War, Eisenhower is understood to have said, just because something is important, that doesn't make it urgent, and vice versa. So it's not a bad tool, you can use it, but I also say, why not think about your tasks in terms of what I call the effort versus the impact? So how much effort is required to do a task based on the amount of impact that will have? So if you think about things from a perspective of a business owner, sometimes we can get very quick wins, and quick wins invariably, they don't take us much effort to do, but they have a massive impact on our business or our clients or our productivity for the day. So think about those, think about how you prioritise, not just the priorities themselves. So, and then once you know those priorities, linking back into what we said about your energy cycles, you can schedule those priority tasks for your most productive time of the day. So just think about that and start thinking that through. It's all right talking about priorities, but in our next one, which is number 5, we're talking there about setting goals and milestones. Now, I'm sure most people who are listening are business owners, and they set goals for their businesses. They set goals for what they want to achieve, and a lot of those times they will be big goals, and you'll break those down, and you'll break them down into milestones, and you'll have dates around the milestones, just like a mini project plan, really. However, a lot of the time people will talk about what they want to achieve in a business. So I want to achieve X amount of turnover. I want to increase my turnover by X amount. I want to get these types of clients. And for me, that's what I call your achievement goals. And it's all right driving towards achievement goals, but my next question all the time when someone says to me that they want to achieve something, my next question is, at what cost? Because what are you prepared to jeopardize? Although I talk about time management and I talk about productivity, we do only have 24 hours in a day. We have 168 hours in a week, 8,730 in a year. We don't get any more time. I can't actually give you more time. I'm good, but I'm not that good. But what I can do is help you free up time. But why do we want to free up time? And that's where other types of goals come in. So what are your preservation goals? What are the things that you have in your life at the moment that you're not prepared to jeopardize in order to reach your achievement goals? I'm not saying you can't get your achievement goals, but it may take a little bit longer. Some of the things that my clients talk about in terms of preservation goals is they want to keep time with their families. They want to have time for hobbies, going to the gym, or just time for me. All those are your preservation goals. People are very aware of their health. That's a preservation goal. So for me, yes, I want the business to be successful, and I want to achieve great things with the business, but am I prepared to jeopardize my relationship with my wife and my kids in order to get that? And the answer is very much a big no. So what are your preservation goals? Because once you have those, you can then start thinking about, well, how does that actually come into, and how does that overlap and link with the achievement goals that I set as well? So don't just think about achievement goals, think about preservation goals, stay focused on them, and give yourself some form of accountability as well, because that encourages you to go on and continually being productive. For me, the first step in time management and productivity is very much about doing it's about doing tasks for the right reason, and the right reason has to be because it's linked to goals and objectives. So think about you setting your goals, think about your milestones, but think about that at what cost question as well. So that takes us quite nicely on to the next one, number 6. Not a DNR, but a DND. So do not disturb. You have to protect your productive time. So when you've identified which is your best time of the day, when are you at your most energetic, one of the things you've got to do is put things in place that will help you to block that time out so as you can concentrate on things that are really vital to you, to your business. So when it comes to that, how do you protect your productive work time, that time when you're most energetic? Or do people constantly come in, disrupt you? Do you answer the phones when they come in? Are you constantly picking up emails? So when I say block it out, absolutely no phone calls, no emails. It's purely the time when you can be very productive and focus on whatever that key task is that you need to do. It might be that you're using it to write a proposal for a client. It might be that you're doing your accounts, but whatever it is that needs your full focus, you need to make sure that you've got what I term your DND time. So do not disturb. Somebody that I know they take this to the extreme. What they actually do is they in their productive time, they actually put a sign on their door that says "Do not disturb unless the building is on fire," and he genuinely means it. So how else can you do it? Some of you might work in open plan offices. Just put a sign on your desk, literally, don't disturb. You can use a traffic light system. A client that I worked with recently, she works in an open plan office, and she's actually got a big pillar beside her desk. And at certain points of the day, she's got a red coloured triangle up. That means don't disturb. She's got a yellow one, but when that goes up, you can come and talk to her, but it has to be about work-related issues. And then when a green one goes up, you can actually go and talk to her about anything. And what people don't realise is that they actually go up at set times every single day. So that's about they sort of do not disturb. So think about how you can protect your time. And taking that forward and moving that on to really the number 7, set the clock. So if you have got your productive time there, so you could use an alarm on your phone, you can use an egg timer. So schedule a time that helps you stay on task. If you set a specific amount of time to complete a task, not only a start time but an end time, then that allows you and it helps you to keep really, really focused on what we're doing. So there's a technique that some of you may have heard about called the Pomodoro technique. And what the Pomodoro technique says is that you work for 25 minutes, you have a 5-minute break, and then you come back and work another 25 minutes, another 5-minute break, and then you do a final burst of 25 minutes, and then you give yourself a 10 or 15-minute break. Those 25 minutes are the times when you are really focused on what you're doing and you're focused on the task at hand. And that might be, that's around your productive time. So during that 25 minutes, you don't do anything else other than concentrate on the task that you're doing. And the reason that it's set for 25 minutes is that for most people, most sort of averagely intelligent adults, 20 minutes is someone's maximum attention span. So they start waning after that, so the break is automatically put in there. So set that timer, and if you go online and search for a Pomodoro technique, there is special Pomodoro timers that you can download for your PC that sort of helps you as well. So think about how much time we spend on a task, and don't be worried about setting that time to do it. So on to the next one then. So we're whizzing through them a little bit. So number 8. So How many times do you wake up in the middle of the night, usually 3 o'clock in the morning, around about that time, with that absolutely fantastic idea, a new thing to do for your business, and by the time morning comes, it's gone? Or you'll be out walking and for me, it happens a lot when I go out running, you switch off, you become very unconscious about what's going on, and that allows your unconscious mind to start working and coming up with all those ideas and things like that. Keep a notebook with you. Jot down all those great ideas that you have. You don't have to act on them straight away, but it keeps that ongoing file of all the ideas that you've come up with. Every now and again, I'll go back to an idea that sort of came up years ago, and is it still relevant for this day and age? You know, what can we do with it? Can we make it work? So keep pen and a paper or a notebook with you all the time, so as you can actually sort of write those things down. Also, in terms of a notebook, if you say you're going to do things for people, now for me, my time management system, I've got literally a little A5 notebook, and that's where I'll put all my notes down, and I've got the same size A5 some calendar that I use, and a diary. So if I say I'm going to do anything for anybody, it automatically goes in my notebook, and that way I'm not having to remember it. I haven't got a decent enough memory anyway, but I don't have to remember it, and it's there in black and white. So if I take it out of my head and I put it down in writing, then it gives me room for more creative thoughts as well. So think about having a recording system with you. Once again, some people use the notepads on their phone or on their tablets. Whatever it is, once again, use it consistently and use it with continuity. So that's number 8. So moving on to the last couple. So number 9 then, as you can see there, schedule your admin tasks at a downtime. Very few people that I've come across actually like doing the admin stuff, and what they do is they try and get it out of the way as quickly as possible, but they invariably try to do it at the wrong time of the day. So when I say schedule admin tasks at your downtime, what we're thinking about here is those times of the day when you perhaps are starting to feel a little bit lethargic, or you need a break from when you've been doing those really productive tasks. But schedule a time every day when you do some admin work, because the worst thing in the world is when admin starts getting on top of you and it's not being done. So, excuse me. So when it comes to the admin sides of it, I always say to people, think about a time during the afternoon or maybe just after sort of lunch, where for a lot of people that is a bit of a downtime. So just do some tasks where you can still be productive, however, they're tasks that don't necessarily need a lot of thought around them. The key thing with admin tasks all the time, admin tasks, a lot of the time they're small tasks, but if they're not done, they can get out of hand very, very quickly. And the thing about admin, we used to have a thing, a lot of people listening will know that I'm ex-forces. We always used to have the thing saying admin is not a dirty word. You've got to keep on top of it all the time. And if you do that, then things don't start falling through the cracks. So just schedule a bit of time every day to concentrate on your admin tasks, and schedule them at a time when it's your least energetic, if you like. It's the time of lethargy really, from the time to sort of do it. Which then takes us on to the very last one there, number 10. Perfection is a productivity killer. The amount of times that I come across people and what they're talking and what they're doing is, it will take them an hour, let's say, to do a report, and they'll get the majority of it done and it's all done and dusted, and then they'll spend another 3 hours trying to perfect it and make it perfect. Sometimes good is good enough. And I'm not saying you should send out reports and things like that that are full of spelling mistakes or grammatically incorrect and things like that. But what are you actually spending your time on? So focus on what is really important and leverage the help of other people. So get other people to proofread it for you. Does it make sense? If you can, get people to proofread it for separate things. So somebody could proofread it for content for you, somebody else could proofread it for grammar and spelling errors. I'm quite lucky in as much as I have a wife who's very detail conscious. She can spot a missing comma in any document from 200 yards away with the cover closed. So I don't have to worry about that too much, but it's something that needs to be done all the time. So there you have it, sort of what I think 10 very quick tips that can help you be more productive and help you increase your productivity and get more out of the day. So if you want any more help and if you're ready to improve your productivity, you've got some contact details there. I am the Time Doctor, and you see there what I do. So I provide time management and productivity solutions that help people to be incredibly productive whilst still balancing their professional and personal lives in a way that enables them to feel fulfilled and guilt-free. So all my contact details are on there. I do have a Facebook group, so if you want to join my Time Management Academy, if you do a search on there, and you can join nearly 2,000 other business owners who get daily tips and help in terms of improving their productivity and their time management. I'm Mike Gardner, and I'm the Time Doctor.
Thanks, Mike. You've got a couple of questions already come through for you this morning. The first one is from Susan, and she asks, do you recommend I outsource to improve my productivity?
Yes, Susan, I'm a big fan of outsourcing, I have to say. I always say to people, look at the cost of your time against the value of your time. So if you're a business owner, I will always say to people, the value of your time is usually 3 times greater than the cost of your time. So I work out a figure in my head because it's always there, to be honest with you. So if you wanted to draw £30,000 a year out of your business, you're actually saying that your time is worth about £18 an hour. And that's based on working an 8-hour day, 220 days a year. But the true value of your time is 3 times that, so about £54 an hour. So what's the best use of your time to get the best value out of it? And if you can pay somebody else to do that for you, then at a lower cost, then that's definitely worth outsourcing. There is always going to be some people that are better than you at doing certain things, so outsource that to them. So yeah, I appreciate that if you're in the early stages of a startup, sometimes you can't do that because obviously budgets are tight. However, as soon as you can start outsourcing, then start doing it. You know, start small and then grow bigger. I outsource about 20 hours a month to my VA at the moment, and it's going to go up as well.
Great, thank you very much. We have another question, this time from Lee, and he asks, are there any planning systems that you recommend?
As we said in the presentation, really, Lee, whatever planning system there is, it's got to work for you. So, as I mentioned earlier, I'm very much I'm an A5 diary and book and notebook person. I'm not a technophobe, not by any stretch of the imagination, but my system works for me. A lot of people use Google Calendar. A lot of people use online calendars to help them sort of plan. I quite like, in terms of online tools, I quite like Trello. Trello works very well. There's people use Evernote as well to help them, and I think Nobiz as well is another one that people use. So there's a number of online tools. If you did a search for online task management, which is what they usually come under, then you'll find one. But try them and find the one that works for you and the one that matches your personality.
Okay, thank you very much. one more question so far come through. This one's from Darren, and he says, can I extend the 25-minute focus period you spoke about? For instance, if the task I was doing requires it.
This is a question I get asked. I do get asked a lot, Darren. And what I say, yes, you can expand on it. And there's other systems out there now that say you can work for sort of 50 minutes and then have a break. Once again, my first port of call would be to break the tasks down into chunks, really. So I'd always say, is it possible, it might be a big task, but is it possible to break it down into small 20, 25-minute chunks? If there's not a definite sort of break points there, then yes, extend it a little bit. But the thought process behind it is making sure that we focus for a set period of time, then we have a break, and then we come back and focus again. So the key point is, yes, you can lengthen it in answer to the question directly, but make sure that we are focusing properly for that full period of time.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Thanks again, Mike, for hosting today's webinar. I will be sending out a copy of the presentation and Mike's contact details out to you all shortly. So please do email him direct if you have any further questions. Just before we close, just a quick reminder, if you would like to keep up to date on our latest webinars, please make sure you follow us on SlideShare or subscribe to our YouTube channel. And you can now also access all of our resources for business owners by downloading the BizSmart app.